That's how we own it.
What's up, family? I'm your girl, Tamika D. Mallory.
And it's your boy, Mysonne, the General.
And we are the hosts of Street Politicians,
The place where the streets and
politics
politics meet.
What's good, Mice?
What's going on? How you feeling today?
It's a good day. Good day.
Okay.
I mean, good day, nervy time. Lots happening.
Lot
But we
going on.
have to be very careful to protect our energy and to know that it is it's not our fault. It's nothing wrong with black people, that there's something wrong with the world and the way it treats us, and we have to protect our energy and not allow ourselves to go into complete depression, because we could.
Yeah, you're right. We were already dealing with the Derek Chauvin case for the murder of George Floyd, and now we have to see another young boy murdered at the hands of police for a traffic. Like, I don't understand. How do we constantly find ourselves in the same situations where officers have excuses and reasons and all type of things for why they kill people, unarmed black people? Unarmed, like it's the same situation. I posted something on my Instagram the other day where it showed how armed white people are arrested. Some of them are threats. They've murdered people. They've done all type of things, but they are actually arrested. They have due process. They actually go to court and go through the whole process. But unarmed black people never even make it to a courthouse. They never even make it to a cell to even be tried. And it's just crazy, man. It's a lot.
Too many cases. And, Dante, right? Just looking, I wrote on my page that when I was looking at the picture that began circulating of him and his baby, it hurt to see him and to know that he was killed. I was even more traumatized by looking at that little baby, knowing that if we don't get this thing right, he could fall victim to the same exact type of situation. And the world itself is just so cold. Our children and what they are experiencing and what we are all experiencing is too much trauma. There were too many black women who have black boys who text me after Dante Wright was shot and killed, murdered, as you said, and said to me, I'm terrified. I'm terrified. I'm terrified for my sons. I'm terrified for my husband. I'm terrified. Like, I'm living in a literal state of terror. And that's the thing that I have to be really careful, because I'm already consumed. Every time my child moves, I'm like, where did you go? Where you at? What you doing? Who you talk? Did you wear this? Don't do this. Don't wear those earphones in your ears, and where you can't hear when you're walking down the street in case they tell you to freeze or whatever. I'm already putting him through all of that, and now he wants a car. I'm scared to let him drive. I mean, he can drive and he drives well, but I'm afraid. It's too many, and I think there are so many white folks who are now starting to say, I just don't have these same fears.
And they don't, because their reality is different. So when we look at these cases and we constantly see the same thing and the same response, there are actually people who say, well, he had a warrant. He had a warrant. He tried to run from the police, and those things are things that you get arrested for. Those are things that you get arrested for. Somebody issues a warrant, you go to arrest, you have your day in court, you prove whether you're innocent or guilty, you go through the due process. But a warrant is not a warrant to be killed.
No.
There's no warrant that you can issue a person that commands and demands them to be killed. And we are constantly issued death warrants. We are constantly issued, as a black man,
sentences.
Death warrants and sentences. Because this
right.
was a death warrant. Like, a warrant that was issued ended up in this man being killed. Literally killed.
It's too much.
It's way too much as a black man. Having, like you said, having conversations with other young black men, trying to make them understand. But we get to a point where it becomes fed up. I was actually watching the news where the police tried to pull somebody over and the guy just had a gun shooting. And these things, like, at some point, right?
Yeah.
At some point,
it was a black man
a black man.
He was afraid.
They pulled up on him and he had a shotgun. I don't even know what it was, but I was like, yo, at some point, what do you expect people to do? And I'm not calling for violence.
Of course
and
not.
We're definitely not saying that, but I'm just trying to say you cannot continue to kill people and expect them to just wait for you to kill them.
Yeah.
You can't. We can't constantly keep seeing these images of us being pulled over for routine traffic violations or traffic stops and dying, and expect you to keep pulling us over. We got, and then not even that. You got the guy that was in the army.
Yeah.
The lieutenant.
The serviceman.
The serviceman. Like you sit there and you see that, and he did everything.
I found out today that he's the nephew of Eric Garner's mother. So Miss Carr, that's her nephew. And she told the story on a CNN interview. She said that her niece sent her the video, and she said people send her these horrible videos all the time, and she doesn't really like to watch them. But this particular day, she looked at the video and just saw this horrifying event occur, and she was like, "This is terrible," and kind of went on about her life. What she didn't know was that was her own family member. And then she said, now, that happened in December of 2020. So this happened last year, at the end of last year. So she's saying that she saw him February of this year at a funeral for another family member, I think an uncle. And she said he was very different, very quiet. You could tell that he has suffered extreme trauma. It actually, obviously, it changes your life. Look at what he went through. I mean, it's just like you said, it's way too much. And at some point, something has to happen. And I don't know what that is, but I know that when I first got on social media, it was almost unheard of to hear people saying that it was time to shoot back or kill cops and crazy stuff like that. Like it was almost unheard of to hear that. But now, as time is going on and it's years later since I've been on socials, there's so much more of that. What is now what I consider to be mental illness, because the trauma is making people sick.
Yeah, it's PTSD. It's really watching something happen and fearing that it could be you. And and that's what human nature is, self-preservation.
Yeah.
And when you think that you're just going to continue to kill people and continue to take their lives, whether you say it's an accident or whatever, at some point it doesn't matter. The road to hell was paved with good intentions.
Right. So don't tell us that.
Don't tell us that, because we don't care about.
We're not interested.
We just want to live. The bottom line is we trying to live, and somebody, and I tell people all the time, I'm not going to sit there. I seen Dr. Cornel West. He was doing an interview, and he was talking about how he could not watch what was happening to George Floyd. There's no way he would be there to sit there for 9 minutes. He says there are black men in this world that are not going to watch that. We're gonna have to intervene. We're gonna risk our, and I'm one of those black men. So
and that's another fear.
That's another fear.
That's another fear, because my father, my son, my brothers, they are not the type of people that are gonna. I mean, first of all, we were raised in a revolutionary family. So they're not the type of people that are going to stand by and watch. But you don't want people who did stand by and watch to feel bad. Like it's the bottom line is that the situation we're being put in is not right. At all. You know what I'm saying? It's just not right. You should not have to choose between stepping into a murder in progress and getting yourself killed as well. Because believe it, those other police officers that were there who did nothing to help George Floyd, they would have pulled their guns on another person that ran up on them. And those individuals could have been killed as well. And it's like, what exactly do we do? And it brings me to my thought of the day, because now I'm just like thinking, in a lot of ways, I feel paralyzed, and I haven't really been talking to you guys about it, but I've been dealing in my own mind with feeling paralyzed because I'm tired of doing the same thing over and over again and getting no results. Like, I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? And I have conversations with the mothers of the movement, and I see the pain, like the every time the Dante Wright happens. Every time they run that video back in the courtroom, even if the mothers aren't watching that day, your socials, your family members, they're going to mention, oh my God, we had to watch it again today. Do you know what they go through? The fathers, I can't imagine what Tracy Martin, right? Trayvon Martin's father, knowing that his son was visiting with him. This happened in his community, on his watch. You know, his son was murdered by somebody that I'm sure he feels like if he had known that this was going on outside, he would have gone out there and saved his son.
That's right.
And he wasn't allowed to do that. I mean, you got so many fathers. You got Mike Brown. You have Oscar Grant's Uncle Bobby. There's fathers, mothers, sisters. You look at Dante Wright's family. His aunt is out there screaming out, like, how did this happen to my nephew? She had to pick up her mother on like a 12-hour drive from Alabama to Minnesota to go pick up the boy's grandmother. Like, this is some serious shit.
It is. It's really dramatic, traumatic, drastic. You know, I was watching the sister.
The young lady.
She was in the middle of the street screaming and crying. Look what they did to my brother. He didn't deserve this, you know, and we just...
A family, and there's a baby that doesn't even know what's going on. It's just a lot. But anyway, my thought of the day. As I'm, you know, we're all on the edge of our seats. Just so people know, we are taping this episode today, and therefore... the verdict for the officer who killed George Floyd, the ex-officer who killed George Floyd, it has not been released yet. But by the time this airs, it may. So we will have to come back and talk about that and update folks at that time. And what I was really thinking about is, like, does it make sense to even have a trial if... Well, we know, because I was listening to them today. The prosecution rested, the defense has rested. So now it's about to go into closing arguments. And I'm sitting there listening to them saying it only takes one juror to stop a conviction, to throw the whole situation
But
away.
it never stops our conviction. The one juror never stops.
I know, it's like, that's funny. That's actually very interesting. Because even if there's, I mean, there have been situations.
I'm talking about more
which have been
often
Hail
than
Marys.
Yeah.
Right. But I know for sure from being in jury duty and also having family members and friends who go to jury duty that jurors feel extremely pressured to, like, so if there's one juror that's holding out, that juror gets a lot of pressure and a lot of talking to and a lot of convincing and working on that juror to join the rest of the group to convict. They do. I mean, people, that's the way it works, right?
That's the process.
But I bet you in this situation, if there's one juror who wants to hold out, I bet you it's going to be, it won't be due process if we, put too much pressure on that person or make them feel like their decision is being, changed based upon the opinion of whoever, the court, the prosecutor, or whomever it is.
I think for me,
the judge.
I think for me, if you've been watching this trial, right, and there is a doubt that George Floyd's life was taken by anything other than this man putting his foot on his neck. If you've seen something,
knee.
right?
You gotta say it
his
right.
Knee.
They're gonna say, was it the foot?
His knee, whatever it is. If you watch this trial over and over, watching that video, hearing those people say, hey, stop, you're killing this man, watching this man have no remorse, no empathy, no sympathy,
sick.
not move from the same spot,
It's
continuing as a man pled for his life. If you watch this trial where they showed where everyone over and over said that this man would have been alive had this foot not been on his neck. I think that is the overwhelming consensus. If you can watch that and come back and say that this man is not guilty of killing this man, then I don't know where we go with justice in America. I don't know. I don't even know what we do.
But
after
it's
this.
not about. But that's the thing, right? So right now, I think the makeup of the jury is 8 white folks and 4 people of color, probably five, because I think you have to have an alternate or whatever. But I don't know for sure. I know there's 12 people for sure, and 8 of them are definitely white. Now, first of all, the assumption that people of color are going to side or be on the right side of justice and the right side of history is not always an assumption that should be made. Because we've seen black folks walk into the room and say, I'm not black. I'm American. I'm human, right? We've seen that. So you can't be too sure that just because there are a few black and brown people on the jury that they're going to just go along with what we know is right. We're not asking you to go in there and do anything illegal. We're not asking you to lie. We're not asking you to choose the movement, to feel sorry for George Floyd. We're talking about the law, the facts, and what you see happening in front of your eyes, right? But and there may be many white people who actually side with our community, because we've seen that. Somebody was telling me a story the other day.
At the protest.
Yeah, somebody was telling me a story the other day of how a white woman lied on him, and the white husband approached the man in the store. It was something to do with a mask or whatever. And the white husband approached him, and it was another white man that got involved and told the husband, "Hey, your wife is lying." So I can't sit here and say that all the white people are going to be wrong. We don't know what's going to happen.
We don't.
But it takes one person. And the thing about what you're saying, that if you could watch that trial and go against justice, not against George Floyd, against justice. If you could do that, it's something wrong with you. But the issue is they could be watching it and know damn well that what they see is actually unjustified, and go along with what they believe is their duty to whomever it is that they serve. And the people that they serve, or the whatever they serve, it is not us. It's not our communities. It's not black men. It's none of that, right? White supremacy is alive and well. And it's very possible that one person on that jury will say, I just can't do it. Like they got people to come in there and lie on the stand, in terms of witnesses or whatever, experts that tried to lie and say stuff about carbon monoxide, and it wasn't, his knee wasn't really on the neck, and all of this craziness. So if those people were willing to do that, then why is it that a juror, and I don't want to think negatively, Mice. That's not the thing what I'm trying to do. So I don't want people to feel like, why am I bringing negative energy to this situation? I'm just bringing reality, because we see it happen all the time. And when I heard them today, they kept saying, it's almost like the media gets you prepared for what they know is coming. And I was specifically watching Fox News, because that's something I do. And everybody asks me, why do you do that to yourself? I have to watch Fox News, because that's where I learn the lies. I see when all of a sudden they put my face up and they start talking about terrorism in the same segment, with stories about me, Linda Sarsour, Patrisse Cullors of Black Lives Matter, Shaun King. Like, they will put us on Fox News, and in the same segment, somehow terrorism and how BLM or Black Lives Matter as a movement, not the organization, is, it's a terrorist group. They say the craziest things about us. So I watch Fox News to keep up with what the opposition is saying and how they're positioning themselves. And by the way, they are using their media to organize an arsenal, a movement of people who are against us. And I noticed today, they kept saying, it only takes one juror. It only takes one juror. What does that mean?
It means exactly what they said. It only takes one juror, to fuck it up, And that's just the reality. And that's what our justice system has. And that's why we've been failed, because the one juror, when you're in the minority, when you look at the reality of what America is based on and built on, and how the value of black life, like, we have to say Black Lives Matter, because the value of black life has not mattered to the majority of this country since its inception. So that's what we faced with. They understand that all we need is one person that understands that white supremacy has to continue to go on, to be on that jury and say, look, I don't give a fuck what happened. He ain't guilty.
It's not.
The same way that you was having a conversation.
Right, about, we were talking about jury duty.
Yeah.
And that's why black people
go to jury
black
duty.
people,
Please.
You got to go to jury.
Got to go to jury duty.
I know it's inconvenient.
You got stuff to do. You don't want to sit there. But black people need you. Black people need you, man, because if you don't understand if you understand what they're facing, you might need them one day.
Wow, that's deep. No, For real. Like, as many times as we have figured out ways to circumvent going to jury duty, you don't have to go to jury duty because you
I don't know, because I have a feeling. But I remember being called to jury duty for years and be like, I'm not doing no jury duty. And when I sat there and I watched, because you get to see them pick the jury.
Right.
And they ask them certain questions. And there was people that was like, yo, I know him. I seen him before.
Or anything.
They be like, I seen him before. He a good dude. I ain't gonna send him to jail. And he be like, okay, you dismissed. I be like, why you had to say that, man?
Yo,
I need you.
What about your
you
jury?
the people
like,
I know.
What was your experience?
My experience
with jury
was it was the worst experience I ever had. Watching my jury get picked. It was probably about 5 white people, 3 blacks, and 3 Hispanics.
Latino.
2 Latinos, my fault. And the way they positioned, and I watch how they try to set it up. It's like a battle, right? And they pick 2 people who are strong-willed in both different directions. You got one person that you could tell they way more conservative, and they're not from your community, and they don't really care, and you could tell that they're looking at you in a certain way. Then you got one person that said, yeah, I'm from the community, and I think I could be fair on this trial, and this and that. And it seems like they kind of for you. So they set it up to where there's this battle with both of them. And then everybody else is kind of like a supporting cast. They just fit in here and there, and they can be swayed.
Wow.
So they know exactly what they do, and you don't get it. You just watch them.
And you don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't know
but
what's
our
happening.
People, we have to go to jury duty.
We have to.
We have to go to jury. It's so important. If there's nothing else that you take from this conversation today and from the George Floyd case and so many cases, is that we have to be the spooks that sat by the door, the watchmen for our community. We've got to go to jury duty and make sure that, I'm not saying go to jury duty and do anything illegal or wrong. I'm saying that too many of our people are being wrongfully convicted or unlawfully treated and unprotected, and we need you and me
to bring your perspective and your understanding of the culture that we live. So when they having these conversations, they say, "Oh, he had to do this because of that." You be like, "Well, I've done this before, and I ain't do none of that." So why does that make him guilty? When you having a conversation with a novice about our culture, about our communities, about how we think, how we move, things that even go on in our communities and in our neighborhoods, and then they tell you that these things that they talking about symbolize crime and symbolize violence and then they be like, wow, that does symbolize violence. But you don't, when you come from that, you be like, well, I did all of those things and it wasn't violence when we did it.
It didn't mean I needed to go to prison for 25 years.
Yeah, it wasn't about that.
Right.
So you have a different perspective that you have to be able to bring into this justice system, into these courtrooms, and onto these juries so that you can make sure that we're actually getting a fair shot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's the real. That's the thought of the day.
So today, our topic is about sustainable living and healthy eating choices. And to help us with this topic is 2 of my favorite people. You know, one of my favorite lyricists of all times.
Yeah.
You know, a brother that, you know, I've admired, been close to, you know, came up in the ranks and just watched him continue to just elevate his mind and still be one of the most stellar lyricists that I've ever heard in my life, is my brother Styles P, a.k.a. The Ghost, and his wife, Adjua Styles. They have been on this health thing. Like, I've watched from the first juice bar to continuing watching Styles continue to get healthy and watching them come together and teach the world about health. So it's an honor to have y'all.
Thank you.
Royalty,
Yeah,
king and queen.
Thank you.
I just want y'all to know that I'm starstruck, right? Like, the younger, the newer artists, I'm kind of trying to learn who they are and get into it. But all the folks that are veterans in the industry, I just love so much. And so, Styles P, amazing to have the opportunity to sit with you. And your wife is beautiful, and she's probably the actual brains behind everything that you do. And so we're going to talk to the brains today and learn. and we're talking about sustainable living and healthy eating for African Americans.
For African American people, yes. Because we happen to be African American people.
That's true.
So we want to talk about how we can eat healthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, what do we need to do? And there was a Huffington Post thing that you did like in 2015, and you talked about there were things that our communities were lacking.
Yeah.
Access, education, and I forgot the third
The
thing.
third thing was that I think that we had too many groceries. So we're not. No, we don't have grocery stores. We're lacking there, right? Because
Yeah.
they're food deserts in our communities. We don't have the things we need, but we have liquor stores.
We have liquor
all
stores.
the unhealthy things.
Do you still feel like that's the same problem, or you feel like we're doing better?
Yeah, because that was in 2015. So it's been what 6 years now.
6
So what
years
do you
since
think?
then.
Well, you want to answer me?
Well, I'll start.
Go ahead.
It's a slow crawl.
Yeah.
It's a slow crawl. There's definitely some change and improvement, but the more awareness is the more improvement and the more change. So we got to keep working. But there definitely is change. But the real problem is just comes down to the demographics again. 'Cause even with the supermarkets or what's available there, it's just not good quality. It's not of anything it's nutritious. So that's the issue. It's just changing the entire game and making sure that we are thriving in our communities with the right produce and the right nutrition so that, we can elevate ourselves, to be the best that we can be because we're so displaced. So the food is where we start, but there definitely has been some change.
Yeah.
So I will say that. It's just not major,
It's not major enough. It's been major change, but what it really is as brown people, you have to realize in the Black community, you have to realize how long we've been behind the 8 ball.
Wow.
Like if you're fortunate enough as a Black person to have money, and you compare to when you live in a an affluent, wealthy neighborhood, as in contrast to a poor neighborhood, you get to see how much behind on the 8 ball we are. So there's not enough Styles families, Pharmacy for Life, Juices for Life. It's not about just us doing it. It's us as a whole, as a people. Like, because if we mention fast food, and I ask you to ramble off fast food names, you can ramble off at least 20 before you even have to slow down, especially in the hood. So we've made major change. The information is getting out there, but the change we stand for, we do not expect to be alive to see. To be honest with you, they have hundreds of years ahead of us, so we're glad to see the changes coming, and people are picking up. But until we really understand that, there's war in many different facets.
Yes.
And the easiest way we always say is to knock everybody off is through the food,
Yep.
through the
Education.
water, and through the miseducation. So until we get a lot further with that, and we have everybody on every neighborhood, and every poor neighborhood, and every ghetto, Blood, Crip, MS-13, neutral bus drivers working, until everybody's on that 1-2 let me feed my family right, and let me take care of myself first and foremost, then my family. We just scratching the surface, but we did a lot of scratching on the surface, but we got a lot more to do.
No, you talk about Juices for Life, Pharmacy for
Right.
Life, and I've known you for years. When the first Juices for Life opened in Castle Hill, and I was there, and I was like, oh, they got
Castle Hill is where?
Castle Hill in the Bronx. That's in the hood. That's
y'all
when
like Castle
well,
Hill.
listen.
Nah, people need to know where Castle Hill
Yeah,
is.
I remember that
Yeah.
was the first time. I'm like, okay, they got the juice bar, because I remember that was one of the Rough Riders things. They used to be in Harlem around the juice bars a lot, and a lot of people. So I used to go down there in Harlem and meet with a lot of the different Rough Riders. So I know that was always the things that there was people were around the juice bar. But when you first opened it, it was like, damn, they actually opened their own. So when did you start to make this healthy transition? Like, what created it for you?
My wife,
Right.
making
As
sure I eat
usual.
right.
Facts.
My wife making sure I eat right at home, and starting to tell me to incorporate, because when you're at home I always ate well. She's an excellent cook and a health-minded cook, so I always ate well. But at that time I was on the road a lot and doing a lot of fast food. So between that and actually getting in trouble and realizing that I was somewhere chemically way off. I didn't know what was happening. I was just chemically, I'm probably just naturally off, but the food wasn't really helping. So I started, at the time I was actually getting into a lot of, trouble. I had multiple cases. So I was trying to eat healthy at home, but also spend my time when I go outside somewhere productive where I could work and still get things done. And shout out to my partners, Nye and Leo. Nye had the juice bar at the time in Harlem on 25th. So I used to go there. It used to be about me, 7 other customers, and it just brought between my wife and that juice bar, it brought so much change. I lost weight. My skin, my eczema cleared up. My post-nasal drip left. My cyanitis left. I stopped carrying around
Wow.
2 guns all the time. like
Your whole life changed.
yeah,
It's the truth, though.
yeah.
Right.
Like, so everything changed, and so it kind of just collabed. But then also it kind of hit us. It was a time we started moving to better places and being able to see money more. And we just kind of noticed like what was happening to our people in the neighborhoods, and we started like doing our own self-education on how to heal ourselves, for family issues, self issues, lady issues, men issues, just trying to figure out how we didn't have to just go run to the doctor every time, and how we could, start incorporating things. And that was pretty much her idea of just incorporating things in the household, to take and just, to add to our nutrients and into our body. So it was kind of, I was getting it from every angle, to be honest with you. And I became a sponge and just started absorbing and just kind of noticing what was going on.
So tell us about the two businesses that you all have now. What are the purpose? What's the difference in the two?
Okay. Well, what are you laughing at?
How ready you was for that one.
Anyway, he's so irritating. Anyway, so Juices for Life and Pharmacy for Life. Juices for Life is first, and now we're on our 5th store with Juices for Life. The last one was just we just opened on Fordham Road about a couple of weeks ago.
So where are they all?
Brooklyn, 3 in the Bronx, 2 in the Bronx.
3 in the Bronx.
3 in the Bronx, sorry.
1 in Yonkers.
1 in Yonkers. Yeah, 3 in the Bronx now, 1 in Brooklyn, 1 in Yonkers.
And our online store, Pharmacy for Life, serves anywhere.
Yeah.
Shout out.
When
we was in Kentucky, y'all sent us a bunch of stuff, so we wanted to say thank you for that too.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, we're always here to support. Pharmacy is our sister company where we sell, supplements. So it's just an extension of the brand and trying to just get more product, more awareness. And as we learn, we pay it forward. You know what I mean? So as we learn and things work for us and heal us, we want to share the information and help to heal our culture, because we really need as many healing foods and ailments, and things to heal our ailments as possible. So,
like, I want to take my sea moss. I use a lot of Dr. Sebi Sebi products.
We sell sea moss.
The alkaline, exactly, all the alkaline products. But it's so many pills to swallow. So many big pills, and I don't like swallowing pills for various reasons.
Right.
And so I'm trying to figure out, what do I do? I know people make the sea moss and stuff.
Yeah, do you like peanut butter or almond butter?
I love peanut butter.
All right, so if you love peanut butter or almond butter, just
oatmeal.
Yeah, get you some sea moss, boil it, oatmeal.
Open the capsules and put them in.
Yeah, throw it right in a peanut butter oatmeal banana shake, and you won't even taste the sea moss. The blend right in, get all your benefits.
Peanut butter, oatmeal, and banana together.
Yeah. There's always a way to make sure you're getting what you need. You just got to be a little creative. You know what I mean? To figure it out. Yeah. To get it, to ingest it, because it's super important. So you just have to trick your body a little bit, but you'll figure it out. But that's an absolute way to take it. Is definitely add it to your smoothie. Oatmeal is good. Yogurt is good. Just capsules, just open the how many capsules does he recommend?
It's 6 capsules of the sea moss. And then it's a lot. And so what I did once was try to open them and put it in like juice and drink it, but it was chalky, so I couldn't get it down.
Get into the shake.
Making your own isn't that difficult. You can make your own. You just boil it dry and let it sit, and then boil it, and then you just store it in your fridge and you scoop it out and whatever you want. Yeah.
We got to talk through that on another time so we can learn.
Yeah,
and also with more time on the show, we can actually educate people on exactly what they do.
Because people don't know. Like, people want to eat healthy, right? Like, we've been eating bad for just so long,
right?
And our taste buds are not even used to healthy food, so it don't even taste fulfilling. So would you say? How would you start to approach it slowly and gradually just change it over?
Right.
What I would suggest is 2 things. First, if we're talking about sustainability, that means you're eating to live, right? That means you want to eat healthy. You want to eat good things. So first, start with reading the ingredients. And when you start to read the ingredients and you see it's highly processed and artificial flavors and preservatives, etc., just eliminate that, because that's nothing good for you at all. So you start there, right? Then also
throw out half the refrigerator.
Then
Okay.
you also have, yeah. Then it's funny because we wanted to raid people's fridges. We thought that would be a great show to raid people's. I mean, seriously, because people aren't aware and they're not as educated. And I believe people really want to learn and do well. But the second aspect is balance. So you can eat certain things, but try to balance it out with some good things and some healthy things. So it's like if you have some go-to regulars that you make, mac and cheese, wings, whatever it is, try to make or at least have about 3 or 4 plant-based or healthy, not necessarily versions, or something that you can go to that's healthy as a balanced meal. You don't need to eat a certain way all the time. Animal protein with every meal and dairy and so forth. So it's about finding a balance too. You can start there.
Yep, that was perfect. And then also pick one day out the week. Like pick one day out the week where you want to start saying, all right, I'm not going to eat how I eat. I'm going to try to eat clean today. I'm going to eat such and such. Don't eat the meat, eat the sides. You know what I mean? Don't use the butter, use smart balance. Just try to pick that one day. And then that one day, see if you could do it again next week. And then if you can get 4 times in, next month, try to switch it to 2 days if you can. And like she said, it gets back to balancing and understanding, your body. It's like, it's kind of taken in an aspect, like if we go out to the club, right, and we drink, and it's kind of like, if you drink too much, that next day,
you gotta drink and hydrate.
You gotta hydrate. You're gonna have to drink that water.
That's right.
You're gonna have to drink that Gatorade. You're gonna need ginger ale. You gotta sweat it out, do some push-ups, jumping jacks. Same, you gotta apply the same mentality to food. And then you gotta also apply information, like the first thing you said, it's like hard for us and we don't know. It's because we're not taking that time to make this information important to us. Like you have to make, like, if like both of y'all look very nice today. What all our clothes come from. Where all the drip comes from. You know how much it costs. You buy the best drip. You wash your outside of your body as much as possible. What about the inside? What information are you looking up for the inside? Are you grabbing your phone? We looking up Instagram, Twitter, fashion stuff, car stuff, jewelry stuff. Look up what's up with your heart. Look up what's up with your chest and your ailments, your body, what's wrong with you, how you can fix it. Like, take time to investigate and get some information going. And that's what we are firm believers in. Because I think a lot of people think you got to be some like a guru or some kind of, like tree hugger or super nerdy or super healthy. Nah, dog. We just
all possess the information.
We all get the information. It's about balance.
People also think you have to have a lot of money in order to
that's
eat
not
healthy.
True.
Yeah, and that's actually not true. Exactly.
You're paying more money for meat. If when you go to the supermarket and if you take the meat products off your list, your bill is going to drop significantly. You're paying for carcass, like you're paying essentially for a dead animal. You know what I'm saying? Like you're paying bulk of your grocery is for dead meat. So it's like once you eliminate that, it's actually not expensive at all. It's actually super cheap. It's super cheap.
It's cheaper, more efficient once you start understanding how to shop and what to buy and what you're exactly doing for your body.
Exactly.
Now, Whole Foods is definitely
I was about to say Whole Foods
Whole Foods is by certainly more expensive than ShopRite. Yeah. But here's another thing. Like, see, this is the thing. Pardon me for saying the thing so much, but this is the cause for us being in this health world and not being the typical health people. If you're listening and you're Black and you're brown and you're paying attention right now, and then my brothers and sisters just brought up a great question, and but we don't say that shit about Jordans. We don't say that shit about the new iPhone. If you got the newest Jordans, you got the newest Nike Tech suit, you got the newest sneakers, you got a Rollie, you got an iPhone watch, you got the newest everything, you got all of that. Don't start complaining about the shit that's gonna save your life.
I know. That's right. So you can wear that stuff.
Don't complain about the shit you gotta spend that's gonna save your life. If you ain't complaining about the shit that you spending that ain't gonna save your life. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. That's a fact.
So that's some shit we do in the community where it's like cool. Like when people tell me I tell them straight, fuck out of here with that, dog.
Right.
Like, look at your sneakers, dog. You got them new retro shits on. That shit's cost $700.
Right.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? How much a snapback cost? How much a fitted hat costs?
Yeah, the real ones. Yeah.
Right.
How
The
much
real
like
ones.
so we don't want to hear that expensive shit. You got to start doing your homework, be diligent, and give a fuck
Prioritize.
about yourself enough to say, all right, let me spend my money at least on some shit that's gonna benefit myself.
Yeah,
How
because
the fuck is a Gucci man bag gonna help you?
And not even that. When you really understand how much we're targeted and how much like they're using the food literally to target us, then it almost becomes a defense mechanism to just be like, it's like, you can almost say F you when you're on your
yeah,
one,
it's
two,
like
your
it's like a
two. You know what I
bulletproof
mean?
vest. They shooting
You know
at
what
you.
I
You got to
mean?
put that vest
So
on.
that's your best defense,
That's right.
is your
Wow.
food. Understanding that,
That's dope.
so
See, I like the way you break it down. Styles be breaking. That's what you know what it is. That's what we do to activism, right? Because a lot of people see
yes, you do.
they
You
say
do.
they
Yeah.
You
say
guys do that
activism is
so
something
well.
that's so far fetched and it's only
Yes.
these type of people supposed to do that. I'm like, nah, dog. The same way you want to go to the club, we go to the club too. We hang out. We do all the shit you do. We just ain't gonna watch our people die, and we gonna stand on the front line
Right.
to make sure it don't
Right.
happen. So that's
Right.
that's what
Facts.
what we doing is
Right.
evolutionizing everything.
This is new
That's
word.
I'm an evolution.
You
I
know,
tell people I'm not a revolution. I'm revolutionary. I'm an evolutionary.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because
You know,
this ain't your mother's and grandmother's revolution. Civil rights organization. This shit is different. It's
Right.
gonna look like the culture. Like, and that's why I
Right.
love y'all. Y'all don't not no. You say we ain't got to be no guru and no
Nah,
nerd
yeah,
hugging
no.
the tree. Nah, I'm from the hood. I do the same shit y'all do, but I'm just gonna make sure that I live long enough to be able to see my great grandkids. I'm gonna live. I'm gonna
Yep.
eat healthy. I'm gonna take care of my body, and you could do it too, the same way from the same
Yep.
culture we from.
it's funny
Facts.
Exactly.
because I'm thinking my son always says it's not your grandmother's movement or grandfather's movement, but he is so in the walking in the light of Reverend Jesse Jackson in some ways by
Wow.
making up words. And
Wow.
evolution is evolutionary.
I'm
That's
an
your new word.
evolutionary.
That's his new word.
That's
And
right.
that's what Reverend Jackson used to do, just make up good
Well,
words.
you just take. You
But
gotta
those
take.
words stuck.
Yeah, you gotta take those. The thing is this. We don't. I don't discredit none of
I
our
know, that's right,
ancestors. We
that's
stand
right.
on their shoulders. They did
Right.
things, but we gonna take what you did
And
and we
add
gonna
your own
modernize it
flavor.
and make it
Right.
That's
make it
right, man.
flavorful for this culture, so these kids can feel attached to it, can see it. Like, okay, it don't
Exactly.
look.
Exactly.
It don't
You
look so
have to
far
know.
fetched. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have to resonate. It has to resonate. You know what I'm saying? They got to feel you.
Facts.
Otherwise, you're speaking in a whole different language to them. You
That's
know?
right.
And it's
I want.
all of this is attached. Like every one of us, like we was just talking the other day. I say like your movement, you know, Banner's movement, Trey's movement,
Yeah.
Talib, Immortal Technique. It's all whether it has different faces in different times. It's all part of the same movement. It's
right.
for the same people. Like what we do is a big part of understanding. You eating clean and drinking clean has a lot to do with what our ancestors gave us, but we
Yeah.
just trying to tell you in a new way. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We ain't doing nothing new under the sun. Y'all ain't doing nothing new
That's
under the
right.
sun.
Right.
We just doing it in a new way.
Doing
Like
it
you said, we
different.
going to be like,
Yes.
all right, we getting back to our roots because a big part of you eating clean and drinking clean is so you could be calm too,
Yes.
and working out so you could be calm as a black man. Because a lot of that shit got to do with I wanted to check my temperament because I can't be running around here and just keep fucking up everybody, especially other black people.
Exactly.
Like,
You're
like,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that
Process.
shit ain't gonna work. So it got to kind of get
So
back
you
to
saying that if we eat better, well, my son eats better, and there has been a change in him since he started eating. He doesn't eat meat, not really, very rarely.
It's a process.
He
It's
only
process.
eats
Good. That's great.
Yeah, he only
That's
eats
excellent.
seafood. He eats double vegetables, all of that. Me, I'm struggling, and our team members, some of us are struggling. We have one that is a vegan completely.
Angela's a
So,
vegan.
we do balance it out, and we learn how to eat better. And I think my anxiety, because I have diagnosed anxiety, and I do notice that the more water I drink and the more that I take care of myself, it's like the temperament gets better.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question that goes a little away from this.
Okay.
X just passed.
Yeah.
So that was a big loss for just the world. And I know how y'all are. I know that's family. Like, how do y'all feel? Like when you heard, like, how have you been dealing with the process of it?
Well, God bless him first and foremost.
That's right.
All dogs go to heaven.
That's right.
We deal with the process how we deal with we're all processes. We understand that God's decision is much more powerful and wiser than ours. We deal with the physical loss, but we kind of understand it's a big part of the health thing too. We understand that energy never really dies. You know what I mean? He may be physically gone, but he's here. Like we've lost a child. Obviously, people know. To those who don't know, we've lost a child. So
Yeah, definitely.
the way we deal with losses is understanding. And for me, what's funny is from reading my wife's book, she wrote a book, The Ethereal Height. It's given me a process with understanding that, the privilege of losing sometimes.
Damn.
And understanding, because it gets you, it kind of gets your energy closer to God if you don't break down. You're either gonna break all the way down or get closer to God and break open,
Yeah.
That's
or
powerful.
find yourself closer to God. So it's inevitable. We all gonna go. We're definitely gonna see my brother again. That's inevitable. We'll see all our loved ones on the other side. But we keep it pushing, and every time we catch a major loss in the community, it just wakens us up to understand we have more of a job to do, and why we do exactly what we do, and tie the hoodie up, pull the boots up, get back to it.
That's right, man. R.I.P. to the dog, man. I just wanted to say that real
So,
quick. But I love you, Styles, man. Styles was one of the first dudes when I came home from prison. I was like rapping. I'm like, Styles, I need you to get on this joint. He like, all right, Mice, let's do it.
Yeah, he showed up.
He showed up,
He
and he did. And it's not a lot of people. It's very few authentic. I think the Rough Rider camp, just in general, is one of the most authentic camps that I've ever been around in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is who they say they is in the camp. From the beginning, inception, when I came into this, they embraced me and always showed me love. So, I just want to say that, I love you, brother.
Always been, Mice. I love you too.
That's right, man. So watching you and your wife just flourish and move in this space and continue to just grow and evolve and package health. I would never. This ain't something that you would thought Styles do. Like people like Mice, I would have never thought that you was gonna be in civil rights. Nobody would have thought that Styles was gonna be someone that was a health nut. Styles was ready, whatever. Like, listen to me. I've been in the camp and I've been there. And whenever something was happening, Styles was the first one. Like he was like, "What? What happened? What we doing?" Listen, and I'm like, ready always. You know what I'm saying? So when you see the evolution of him, man, is a salute. You just gotta salute him, man, and congratulate you, man.
Thank you. But this is a serious war. Like we said, it's not just about health. It's about because I want everybody who's tuned into us right now to understand this is not just a health wave, my people. This is some real shit. Like they are not. You could look at the numbers. Go look at the numbers. We ain't lying. The numbers will tell you the truth. Think about your family. And when I look at the numbers, think about your family. Think about your aunt with high blood pressure, diabetes, heart problems, stroke, gout. Just think about it, dog. And we used to being on this shit all day, and talk about pop or shit and what's lit and what's fly. And that's cool. We're gonna do that. We're gonna continue to do that. We love nice shit over here. We really do like nice shit. So, but at the end of the day, we got to take care of our own. We got to take care of our people. And we got to understand that this shit is a war. This ain't just get healthy, look good, throw some nice clothes on, sell juice, sell herbs and oils, run out in the thing. No, we understand exactly what's happening and we playing our part in the war. If I was to warn y'all, it's the same shit as if we were standing on the block. I say, yo, homie, they're gonna spin that corner, they dumping out. If you ain't got family over there, you ain't got no personal problems, you ain't got nothing invested, you're gonna avoid that. We ain't doing that with the food and the miseducation though. And that's what we're here to make sure it happens. We're gonna stop spinning that block. We're gonna avoid that block.
Well, thank y'all so much for being with us today. Just listening to you, it just brings me to all the people that died in the Black community, particularly throughout this pandemic with COVID-19, and most of them, the issue was heart disease and just pre-existing health conditions, asthma, things that we know healthy living can at least help with. Not saying that you're going to be 100% healed tomorrow, but you certainly could be in a better situation. So Styles P and Adjua Styles. Adjua. That's such a beautiful name. Two beautiful people. Thank y'all so much for being with us. And we want you to come back and help educate. Continue to educate.
Yes, sir. We want to promote your products on the show, so we definitely gonna could connect with y'all and make sure that we get we. You said it's a war, man, and our
That's right.
people need to make sure that they prepared.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, it is.
absolutely.
For
God
sure.
bless.
God
Thank
bless
you
y'all,
Love is
so
man.
love,
much,
y'all.
guys.
Love.
Bye.
Salute.
Salute.
So our change maker segment today, and since we're in keeping with this theme of healthy living, sustainable living, I think it's so important, Mice, for us to really start trying to help shift the minds of our people to more sustainable living choices, and also understanding that after this pandemic, we cannot depend on the government and the larger society to protect us. We have to learn how to protect ourselves and how to make sure that our communities are set up in ways that we can survive when things get bad. Famine, because there was actual like food deserts for real. There was stuff really happening during this pandemic where people couldn't get the things they needed. But also in terms of sustainable living, we have someone today, a change maker, an incredible young man who's actually from Ethiopia. I think one of the other things that we learned is that because the pandemic impacted us all over the world, we need to share ideas with Black people and other people from around the world so that we can find the best tips for us even here in America. And so Jodahi Bizabi is an environmental expert who lives in Ethiopia. He's the host of a show that I've been watching, which is actually really, really cool, called E-nfluencer. And he's funny. So we're about to get somebody who can help retrain us and make us laugh all at the same time. Thank you so much for being with us, Jodahi.
Thank you very much. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for the invitation.
So tell us what you do. Tell us, because listen, I got 5 jobs down here for you. You got all this stuff. We
Yeah,
need
you
to
got
know.
a lot of jobs, champ.
What exactly do you do? And I know you're using your expertise on your show to talk about these things, but drill down for us and let us know where you are and how your knowledge base can help us with sustainable living here in the U.S.
So once again, thank you very much. It's a great honor to discuss about this. I mean, this is basically what I do all the time. So in my background, I'm an applied biologist. I grew up in the city, born and raised. I've always wanted to work in something that could potentially impact in regards to nature and sustainability, but I haven't seen it from any other aspect but the scientific aspect of it. So growing up, being called the trash mobile trash can, because I used to would carry a lot of trash in my bag or in my pocket because my friends threw away their trash in my pocket. Actually, most of the time, I was somehow that geek with a lot of understanding about environmental sustainability and always talked about it, even chilling with my friends. Fun facts that I found out about the ocean, or different things. So I was always that person that asked about a lot of questions about environmental sustainability, and it pushed me into applied biology. So being an applied biologist showed me the scientific aspect of it, but not the rest. So there's the negotiation aspect, the
The
business aspect
business.
of it. So many other sectors out there that are working on environmental protection, but we still do not understand it. So one thing led to another. Me speaking about it, me putting out those vibes about environmental sustainability, people started pulling me into projects and youth-led organizations such as Youth Network, Youth Negotiation on Climate Change Convention, Green Road Track Concept, which I helped build in so many ways. And I've had the chance to also intern in the Ministry of Environment in our country, and for our city, Addis Ababa City Resilience Project Office, which actually works on how to make our city as resilient as possible. So throughout my college years, I've been volunteering here and there to come up with solutions on how we could potentially solve this issue. But I still didn't see an impactful organization or network that are working on environmental sustainability from a wholesome aspect. So that's how I wanted to create a platform where people could come in and have their own perspectives in regards to environmental sustainability and put in their a small contribution into the bigger cause that we are all trying to do. Because I believe art could speak about environmental protection just as the scientists could. So we're trying to create a platform called Influencers with an E. E represents the environment, obviously, Earth, Ethiopia, education, and entertainment, all wrapped up together. So that is the word that we were trying to use, and it started off with Joda's influence at first. It still is going. We're still trying to bring in friends from different parts of the world and in Ethiopia that are working on environmental sustainability and trying to revitalize the younger generation in our country into working on environmental sustainability.
So on your show, you have a lot of interesting topics, and one of them is climate anxiety. How does climate change or alter anxiety?
You guys really did your assignments.
Yeah.
Uh, so, I mean, mental wellness and every aspect of it is a huge, huge priority, and I wish in everybody's life. And I haven't had that much of an issue with any mental disorder, thank God, for so many years of my life. But I've always had that reservation, that itch, that sense of not doing anything, not contributing anything to the cause. Um, you hear. I don't even watch much of the news anymore in regards to environmental protection because it's just it takes me to places that I don't want to go. So I usually focus on new innovations that are working for the environmental protection, new ways, new science that is a good news for our world, because that actually drives me. But when I hear small islands getting eaten up by the ocean, um, this just very hard scenes from the polar bears in the northern part. Also in Ethiopia, while you were just discussing, the desert locust has been infesting in our country, not only in our country but in the Horn of Africa, because of the winds. The climate change pushed the desert locusts in this area and made it stay here because it usually just travels into the desert and they just die out, and they're usually the cycle goes on in a small manner. But now because they're not able to to be taken by the wind, which their usually route is, they stayed and almost devastated more than half of
The
our
locust.
country's food. Um, 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 yeah. So, anyways, I've always had that reservation. I'm still not doing anything for the cause. I need to do more, and it's something that I'm still struggling with, and I
Yeah.
hope
Yeah, I think I
we could
I
all
totally
work together.
understand what you mean, because I think for all of us, it's like we know, we see the weather changing. We see when it's supposed to be cold, it's hot, and I mean really hot. Days are changing so quickly. Then all of a sudden a snowstorm comes and it's something that is like a blizzard from like years and years and years ago. Like there's so many things that's changing, and like even the season that we're in right now, the pollen and the the allergy season is so strong. So we know something is happening, but then we notice that the climate change conversation is so political. So you have, Republicans who want to ignore it, and then you have Democrats that want to try to do something about it, and then, and it starts getting into money. And so it does create a level of anxiety where even people like me, I have anxiety to the point where I'm going to actually worry about it. But somebody like my son's going to be like, I'm just going to eat right, I'm gonna mind my business, we just going to keep it moving. You know what I mean? But it
That's right.
does create in all of us a tension of like, if we know that the country, like what is they say it's melting, We're melting. Is that what we're
Yeah.
okay? So if we're melting, then what are we gonna do? Like, what are we going to do? And who knows? And then you have people telling you to put solar panels over your home. It's a lot of information to take in, especially when we've been taught none of it from childhood.
So that I mean, not to cut you off, but that is basically what we're trying to do, trying to dial down the conversation, that the chatter which we see on the TV screens or different places, which makes the problem even more bigger, and to make the smallest change as much as possible, so that we could have the biggest impacts at some point. Because I don't know if you guys have seen the videos, but some of the videos are so simple where we just rethink of what we do. For example, just not using your straw, or reusing your clothes for a bag, maybe just reusing, upcycling, or just refusing, just not doing things that you're not supposed to do, walking into the distances, just small distances which you can walk to. There are so many other aspects of it which you could bring to. You could bring in the health aspect, the business aspect, the political aspect, from all sorts of environmental arena, and we can all win at the same time. So that's basically what we're trying to do. Also, from the younger generation, we're trying to work with the different high schools in our country about environmental sustainability. So we hope we could make a better change, even, and influence the rest of the world.
Influence with the E.
With the E. So
Yep.
we appreciate you, man. And environmental education is very important, man. A lot of us don't focus on it because somehow we feel like it's just somewhere over there. A lot of people don't, they don't see it until it actually hits home. I don't know exactly what you deal with in Ethiopia. I don't know that, how you actually, with the environmental changes are you're dealing with there, but I see them here in America, and I'm watching how the weather's changing. I'm watching how, how plants are dying, how water is not as healthy as a lot of things that we're dealing with. So I think the work that you're doing is commendable, and we appreciate you. Where can they find you? Where can they find your show? Where can they find you? If they want to be more educated about what's going on.
Thank you once again. It's such a huge honor to be invited to this show. My name is Jodahe Beza Petros. It's my personal handle is Jodahe P. Simple as that. But if you want to follow what we have been doing so far as Joda's Influence, it's just like that. Joda Influence with an E, with no space. And now Influencers Network is officially going to be launched. We are working on our websites, but the social media accounts are all up. Influencers Net and ET.
Okay, well, we
Sounds
appreciate
good.
you, man. Sounds dope. Continue to do the work, man. We're supporting you. Hopefully, some people will see this and say, "Look, we need to fight for our environment, man. We need
Environmental justice.
environmental justice.
That's right.
Your activism is definitely appreciated and respected, brother. So
Change
continue to do the
maker.
work. Change maker.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Have a beautiful time.
You too.
So, how do you pronounce the brother's name again?
Okay. Why would you do that to me? But I think it's
I'm gonna say JB. I'm gonna call him JB because I can.
JB.
JB.
And his name is like you got it. You can see it right here.
It's gonna be on the screen,
so
but
you will know.
I'm not gonna mess that man's
and
name
for
up.
those people who are listening, who can't see it, let me read it to you
I'm not even
properly.
trying.
I'm going to. I believe it's Jodahe Bizabi, but
JB. I'm gonna call him JB.
But I want to spell it properly. It's Jodahi Bezabih. Jodahi.
Tamika, man named JB.
No, Bezabih.
JB.
That's important because people who are listening who want to go find him online, they can't see the screen.
Oh no, somebody.
And you know our
JB.
No, but I'm saying.
But he gave you the
on
stuff.
iHeart, no, but on iHeart,
Yeah,
you only hear us.
I get it, and I'm
then
100%.
here- so you might be listening, and then you need the spelling.
But he
so you
said
can
it
go.
during it to
But you
rewind.
can't. But he didn't read his name.
He told you his
No,
name.
he told you, but how you gonna spell it?
What I'm gonna say is this: JB had a hell of an interview. He talked about environmental justice and all the things we need. So it was a dope interview. Follow him.
Yeah, definitely.
JB on all.
I spelled it, so you will.
JB on all platforms. She spelled it, so you just follow him. But
Yeah, and no, but he's talking about something that's really so serious, and so many of our people, it still goes over it goes over your head, and it goes over my head, it goes over yours. Like, I'm mad they don't have plastic bags at the grocery store. That's, you know why I want my plastic bags from the grocery store.
Why?
I'm gonna be really honest. This is like probably
they got plastic bags sometimes.
well,
it depends
see,
on which
that's
one
'cause
you
you
go
go
to.
to the hood
I go to Walmart.
Walmart ain't supposed to have no plastic, but it's supposed to be brown paper bags.
Nah, they have plastic bags.
Well, I like my plastic bags. You know why? Because I'm a plastic bag hoarder. So
Yeah.
I have another, you know how all black households, I don't know, maybe every household, but definitely.
You just got a little
black
place
people,
where you just put
it's
the
a
little
place you just keep
shop.
stacking them in there. So I have this place and I just keep, because every time I gotta go somewhere, like in my suitcase, you know, everybody knows. Everybody who travels with me knows.
Lord have mercy.
I have everything in my suitcase. I
Everything.
have the wipes, the spray, and I was doing this beforehand. I got gloves.
Lord have mercy.
So I have to put everything in a plastic bag because I want to keep things separated from one another. And so, because if it touches, then the whole purpose of trying to bring things and make your house and your hotel room and stuff clean,
There's the germs and all
the
that.
germs is touching. So I need plastic bags. Well, if you have to buy Ziploc bags, that's too expensive. So I need the plastic bags from the grocery shopping so I can use them. And then I'm the person, this is one thing y'all don't know about me, but I actually save the bags. Like, after I use them to travel, I keep bring them all back home.
This is a lot about a plastic bag. This is we could do a whole episode about plastic
I
bags.
love plastic bags.
This is unbelievable.
But that's actually not good for the environment.
The environment. Speaking of the environment, it brings me to my I don't get it. You know, since we're talking about the environment and we're talking about germs and packaging
Eating
things.
right.
Eating right and all these things. COVID.
Cold. Yeah, you know me and you argue about this.
We
all
do
the time,
argue
my
about it,
son.
but I'm guaranteeing you that you're not going to really argue about this.
Today.
I just want to know this, right? We traveled to Atlanta. We traveled to Atlanta, right? We traveled to Atlanta. We traveled to Miami. We traveled to LA, and we traveled to different states
All the time.
all the time. And I just want to know, why does it seem like COVID is affecting Atlanta?
Not affecting Atlanta.
I mean, it doesn't feel like COVID is affecting Atlanta at all.
It is though.
But I'm just saying, when you go to Atlanta, you don't think COVID is existing. If you wasn't watching the news and all that, and you went to Atlanta, you wouldn't think we was in a pandemic.
Well, our producer Janice Rodriguez just said that the Bronx seem like they don't have COVID either.
But,
sometimes.
the
do.
Bronx always was like that anyway. But I'm just trying to figure out, there are a lot of places, but just to be honest, just serious, there are a lot of places that have been open, right? And you don't see this drastic, spike in the cases and the deaths in a lot of these places. And then
That's
places,
not true.
What do you mean?
It's not
true?
properly being reported. When Georgia specifically, the governor was like, we ain't about to be putting out numbers all the time. But if you talk to Keisha Lance Bottoms' office, the mayor's office, she's like, COVID is spiking crazy. Now, I don't know if people are dying the way they did in New York. But the difference with New York and a place like Georgia is the fresh air. Like, your point had always been, which I kind of agree with the context of like what you're saying, not the specifics, but the context. I get it. Is that you can't have people locked in, everybody in the house locked in, because then the germs are just passing around, right? So people do need fresh air. And there was a point when they were like making you feel like you couldn't even go to the park and walk, and that wasn't good. So I think in Georgia, with the fresh air and people they don't live in the way we live, the projects, the tenement buildings, the co-ops, the condos, we live on top of one another. We share the same elevator buttons. We open in the same doors. So we spread things different in certain places. So that's what I think.
In Atlanta, see, this is what I'm trying to say. I hear what you're saying, but in Atlanta, it's not that's what I'm trying to tell you. You could walk into the regular just lounge And it's a million people. They touching everything. They giving you a pound. And it's the same people every time you go. It ain't like
So
none
you
of them
saying
is
that they
sick.
alive.
That's what I'm saying. They ain't
didn't
sick.
die.
Anybody come back like, yo, such and such is mad sick. Yo, we got to do this.
But
It's the
I just
same
think
people.
you don't live there and don't see the local news.
But I'm
my
not talking
son
about the
who lives
local
there
news.
doesn't
I'm
think.
talking about the local people. I see the local people. My mans and them own a lot of restaurants. They own clubs.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And they there every week. Every time you go there, the spot is open. It's the same people. They giving handshakes. They love it. It
Okay.
ain't no COVID there.
This is what I think we should do.
So I'm trying to figure out.
We have
I
been
don't get
saying-
how COVID is some places where it ain't nobody going outside, but it ain't where everybody is going outside. Like, I need to understand. Explain to me how this is happening. I really just don't get it.
I still think that it has a lot to do with space and air and all of that. I don't know. Maybe they built up herd immunity faster. I really don't know. But what I do know is that we have a responsibility on this show to properly educate people. And we've been saying for over a year that we were going to find COVID experts and bring them on to talk. Because
But I
now
listen
we
to the
have
COVID
issue.
experts talk every day.
Yeah, but they don't. They
They
never
don't
answer
say
that.
anything.
Yes,
they
they
just
do.
they say it's very strange.
No, that's
very
not
like-
true.
What?
No, they don't say
They-
it's
when
very
you
strange.
ask-
They
listen
say
to me.
we're not sure of all the details.
Of
but
course.
We know.
So that means you're not really an expert. If you're not sure of the details.
How can you be sure about a pandemic that just started that you never even? This is the first time you've
So
ever
how
dealt
can
with
you
this
be
strand.
an expert?
You are an expert at that type of medicine
No, you're
or
not
that
expert.
type of.
Listen,
of
we do
whatever
not.
you
We
wanna
do
call
not
it.
have a COVID expert. There's no such thing.
That's not true because COVID has been around forever. Or
So-
coronavirus has been around
No,
forever.
I'm not talking about corona. I'm talking about
But this is
COVID-19. There's no
coronavirus.
COVID-19 because there has been, along the way, all these experts have made wrong steps. They've told us this, and sometimes it's wrong. They
Yeah,
told us
okay, but that's
So
trial
that means
and
you're
error.
no. That
but
means
you
you're
know
not
more about viruses
No, that
than
means
you
that
do.
you're- that means
I bet
that-
you they know more about viruses than you.
Maybe they do, or maybe they don't. Who knows? Because they're not an expert.
Because some of
Nobody
our
is an
brethren,
expert.
some of our brothers who are online, right? Some of our own brothers, 19 Keys, Riza Islam, and others, they feel that they have some expert knowledge about things we should and should not be doing.
Yeah.
So we can't take away, we can't say there are no experts. I think there are different
No, I'm
experts.
saying-
There's a different expertise.
There's no expert on COVID-19. That's just the bottom line. Nobody knows what the fuck COVID-19
Oh
is.
my God.
It shows up when some people say they have it. They never even got a cough. They ain't had nothing. It's some people.
There's some black doctors that know some things, and I think
And
we
I'm
should
not
get
saying
them
they
on
don't know
so we can
things.
drill them down.
But
because
there is
the
no
now,
COVID-19 expert. Because if there was an expert, they would be able to give you this is this is gonna happen. Nobody is able to give you a full scope of
This
what
is
COVID-19 is.
We have a responsibility on street politicians to properly educate people.
But we
You
can't
have a- you
educate
put-
because we
you
ain't
put a very
experts, and it ain't no
You
expert.
put a very good question on the table. Why is it? Because you right. In Georgia, I see them. Even when they get COVID.
Miami too.
But my family members that had it that live in Georgia, they were very, very sick. Very sick. One of my cousins, we weren't sure, right? No, two. I had two cousins that one of them was on her deathbed and the other one was very sick. But now her daughter, one of them, the one that was on her deathbed, Raven, her daughter was around her. And she never has had any real heavy experience. Like I don't even think she knows if she has antibodies. I don't think she knows if she ever had COVID at all. And she was around her mother while she was sick. So it's different things for different people. I don't know the answers, but I do know that especially with this conversation around the vaccine that we should make, because one of the things that bothers me about the vaccine that I'm dealing with, right? Like, I want my mother to be safe. I want to be safe. I want to help the society. I want us all to be a part of the society that, we work together. We make sure we're vaccinated. We take care of ourselves. But I'm not at the point of taking the vaccine.
Concept. I don't get the concept.
No, I do get the concept of taking
I just
the
don't.
vaccine.
I mean, no, that's an individual.
No, I understand. But look,
the vaccine is an individual's choice.
Well,
right?
it's not because it doesn't operate.
Your physical anatomy, right, is unlike anybody else's physical anatomy. So the way a vaccine will react in your body even if it actually helps you or in how long it actually lasts, is different for each and every individual.
And I understand that.
So understanding that reality, it should be your individual choice. If I have COVID, if I've had COVID and it doesn't affect me in the same manner in which it affects you, listen to what I'm saying.
Son, that's not the point.
No, why is it not the point?
Because the point is, if you are getting it and able to spread it in the same way, that's where the dangers are.
But
and
that,
the reason
so
why
that means that the individuals who feel like they're able to spread it in the same way.
Yeah, but what do you mean? You don't
What do
know
you mean?
if you
What do
don't
you
know
mean?
if you come into contact. Listen, first of all,
Okay.
I am not advocating for.
But I'm just trying
No,
to. I want to
but you're
understand the
cutting me
mindset
off.
that you have.
No, but exactly, and that's
Okay.
important because I don't want people to get the impression that I'm saying everybody needs to go out and take the vaccine, because I have not. But I have family members who have, and I've also assisted elderly people and other individuals to get it because they call me saying, I need access. How do I get it? And they need it. Right. But I also believe, and this is what my research has said, that if a vaccine is going to be highly effective, it's going to be effective because the masses have taken it so that we can bring the spread down.
What does that mean? Explain to me how that
I'm
works.
saying that vaccines are not, the way I've been told, the way what I have studied and heard, is that if you take a vaccine that actually works, right? That doesn't have all the implications that we've been talking about, but you take a vaccine that actually works, the more people that take the vaccine, it protects the entire population or society in general. That's what I've been told. But what I'm trying to get to.
But that's the same process of
Okay,
herd immunity
I
without
understand,
taking
but
the
I'm just
vaccine.
trying to say
Okay,
something.
cool.
All I'm trying to say is that one of the things that has really bothered me is the fact that too many social media networks and different entities seem to be silencing the voices of those who are raising very serious issues and concerns with the vaccine. That bothers me because I've seen throughout history where we have been prevented from getting knowledge that we need about important things. And I think that there should be mass debate and dialogue about the vaccine. And instead of silencing the voices of those who are concerned or those who even feel we shouldn't be taking it, what should happen is that there be engagement. Because people like Ariza Islam and others like that, they have a following of people who listen to them. And so when you silence them or attempt to silence them, what happens is it causes more confusion rather than bringing someone like him to the table to sit down and say, let's go line for line. There should be people, to your point, experts, that are able to sit down and debate word for word. You say that it will cause this problem. Here's the counterbalance. And then give some of us the opportunity to listen to that and say, okay, I think that I'm going to take the vaccine because I feel comfortable that there's been enough information given, or I'm not going to take it because I agree with others who are against it. But right now, I feel like the disinformation that exists just by the fact that we don't have enough information is very dangerous. That's my opinion. So I wasn't saying don't take. I was just saying that I think the way that vaccines are supposed to work is that the more people who participate, the better it is for society overall. But I also feel very concerned and unnervy, or I feel nervous about it.
My process, my point of view
It
differs.
matters, so you go.
It just differs. I just believe that as individuals, when you take the individual vaccine, it's supposed to protect you, right? If you made a decision that you don't want to get, you don't want to catch COVID, your immune system is not strong enough, you don't know how it's going to affect you, and you made a conscious decision that this is something that you're willing to risk, whether it goes along with your molecular structure, whether it's going to affect you. If you made that conscious decision that that's how you feel as an individual, I believe you should do that, right? I also believe that as an individual, if you believe that you've done everything health-wise, in which you're eating properly, your immune system is strong, you're doing all these things.
We agree on that.
And you believe that, okay, I'm healthy enough that I can sustain. I don't want to put a chemical in my body that I don't know how my body's going to react to, right?
Okay,
I think
agree
you
with
should
that.
be able to have that choice as an individual. And I don't think that you should be pressured to believe that if you don't want to take a vaccine, that you're not doing the global world justice, right? Because they also said when they talked about herd immunity was something that they said would develop without a vaccine. It didn't factor in the vaccine. They said herd immunity is when you actually enough people get it and then they become immune. People start to become immune around being around each other because the body starts to adjust
and that's
to the
why
chemicals.
I say that I think this show should be a platform because nobody tells us who we can have on this show.
Yes.
I think this show should be a place where we have people who are on both sides of these issues to come and talk without them being either side being silenced, because it's important that our communities be educated about the whole picture, not just the person that they love and listen to. That's cool, but there's more to learning than just listening to one aspect of any dialogue.
Okay. Well,
that's my opinion.
With that said, we've come to the end of another beautiful show. This is the number one podcast in the world.
Number one podcast.
We number one.
In the world.
Thank you.
Number one.
Thank y'all for making us number one.
Almost.
No, almost. You got to speak. Come on now.
Number
one. This is number one podcast in the world. And we appreciate y'all. If you have topics that you want to discuss, please
hit us up.
Hit us up. Send us messages.
Yeah.
Tell us if you love our show. Tell us how much because we know you love the show. Just tell us how much you love the show. And we just want to say thank y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in with us every week. I'm not going to always be right. Miss Mallory is not going to always be wrong, but she'll most likely be wrong more than I am. But we will both always, and I mean always, be authentic.
Yeah. Peace, y'all. Thanks for joining. Street Politicians.
Politicians! My man JB. JB, you see JB?
He was good. He know what he talking about over there in Ethiopia.
JB. I don't know his name. That's how we own it. That's how we own it.